So, I did a video yesterday, and I haven't watched the video back, but the comments made me very upset. A little bit for me, but moreover for you actually, because I realise, yes, I'm probably depressed at the moment, and because the comments, and you don't realise, but what moreover I realise is just how many other people out there are really upset, really depressed, really withdrawn. One guy said, I got to my 70s and I don't feel anything more, and I feel like I'm existing. Another guy said that he dreamed of meeting Jesus and saying, I've had enough now, can you take me? You know, I was quite upset by stuff like that, because how much sadness, how much misery can these people be going through? And it got to me. But it would do, because you're a human being, you know, these things do. A lot of people, another comment that I'd seen repeated over and over by many different people was, it's middle age, it's what you expect. Now the sad part about that statement is that people have a very low expectation of what life should be in their 40s. It shouldn't be like that, alright? It is not the norm. This is not normal, alright? You know, you don't just expect to exist and that's a good thing at 40 or 45 or 50 or whatever. There are many people in life that have a good life at that age for many different reasons that we can go into that now. But the good thing about this, or yesterday, was there were two things that came out. One, I think, is frozen response syndrome or something like that, frozen emotion syndrome, whatever, which I looked at, and this seems to, from what I can see, seems to be a new thing. And it might not be, but it seemed like a new thing. Now, what a lot of people are doing is saying that the end of their happy period, the end of what they call normal, was the beginning of the lockdown, and that the lockdown did so much to destroy friends groups, push people apart, polarize people on politics and stuff like this, that it was the end of their biking group, it was the end of their model racing car group, it was the end of their sports group, it was the social group, whatever. It finished up a lot of pubs, it finished up all sorts of stuff, and that has a lot to answer for, alright? Now the people that did this, nothing happens by chance, alright? Long before things are set into motion, there is a lot of psychology that goes into what they're going to do. There's a lot of pre-planning that goes into what they're going to do to make sure they get just the right effect. Nothing happens by chance. Now there's a lot of stuff coming out in the news media lately about the things that we can't talk about, and the companies are actually coming true about what the outcome of these things were. And I hate the fact that I've got to talk like this, but you'll understand why, because you just lose your channel. There are certain people that can talk about that topic without any worry at all. Now, ask yourself the question, why is it that these people can talk with free range about said topic and not get any problems? I'll let you work that one out. Anyway, going back to where I was about this video, it seems that a lot of people will be happy now just for it all to be over. That is really, really bad, because at the end of the day, there is so much to live for. We have sucked in so much doom and gloom over the past, in my case, 8 years, 9 years, that it is probably enough to put somebody on a course of depression. We, having understood what really is going on and what future, are naturally going to be anxious, naturally going to be upset, naturally going to be depressed. And it seems that the people with their heads buried in the sand, because this was another common thread, ignorance is bliss. And it is true. If you have no idea about what's going on and you think that everything is normal, then you're not going to be as affected by somebody who knows that what's going on isn't normal, it's not right, and they have a full understanding of what's going on. But either way, we still have to live for the moment, alright? I mean, when I say live for the moment, I'm not talking about the sort of the narcissist that just wants to take pictures of the here and now and rub it in every other cunt's face, look at me, look what I've done, look what I've got, that kind of thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about we actually have to have fun if we can do it, or have some good times now, because we only get one shot at this life. And at the moment there's a lot of people that are having a piss poor life, not through their own fault, alright, but they just are. And isolation is one of the key factors of depression, and also the people that created these situations realised just how damaging isolation is. I mean, they use it as a punishment, for fuck's sake, in prison, alright? You know, they used to use it in POW camps. They've used it in many situations to punish people. So, all of a sudden there's a lockdown and people are being, metaphorically speaking, punished for something they haven't done. And then you've got the fallout of that. People who are not used to spending any time on their own, and there's a lot of people that struggle with that. I'm used to it. But there's a lot of people that really, really can't cope with that. Many people get into a second relationship or a third relationship on the bounce because they dread being alone. That is how much of a damage that isolation is, and yet we all got put through it. But it wasn't just us, it was globally, for fuck's sake. Now the people that plan this for something that now, by the way, if you have the thing, you just go to work, nobody bats a fucking eyelid. But the damage is done, and they know it. But the isolation of people, they went through it, it damaged their mental health, probably irreparably, right? There are going to be people that aren't going to get over this, but there are people at the moment that are fixable. And what we need to do is get these people around each other. Now, some of these people might dread the idea of meeting up because that's part of depression. Depression wants to get you to itself. I've said this before many times, and I had it explained to me, and it's true. Depression can do more harm to you when left alone, because you're left with your own thoughts, and your own thoughts can sometimes be the most damaging thoughts. And there's many of you that will testify to that in the comments, I would imagine. How many times have, when you were left alone with your own thoughts ran away in a negative sense, and you had to talk to somebody, and when somebody actually explained it to you, you didn't feel so bad. So, the system planned for us to be on our own, to ruin our own heads. Very clever. But now, we're not locked down, but we're kind of prisoners of our own mind. We don't believe that we can go out and meet other people. We don't feel that we feel comfortable doing so, whereas years ago we wouldn't have had a problem. As I said in yesterday's video, I used to be one of the most sociable kinds going. I was out every night, I had a group of friends, and or people I met, and yeah, I was just the life and soul of it. But that was 31 years ago. Bob Seger did a song, Running Against the Wind. I've been listening to it this morning. I found that hard going too, but it is so out. Maybe you might want to listen to that, Running Against the Wind, and see what you think. Let me know in the comments. I read through the comments, as obviously you're working out, because some of you watched yesterday's video and know that it's you that I'm talking about when I read out some of that stuff earlier on. I spoke about some of that stuff. The comments to me are one of the most important parts of my video, because you let me know, am I alright? Am I not alright? I didn't care the trolling or the negatives, because for some reason those people just don't bother. I've got a few people that follow me that dislike what I do, and you know, any chance they'll get, they would say that, you know, oh, he's coming apart, but obviously I'm not, because it takes somebody tough, and I don't mind admitting that I am mentally tough, because I keep going. You know, you can have your breakdowns, in so much as you can have a cry, or you can do whatever that is that you do to get you through the day. But the fact that you get through the day, regardless how tough it was, The fact that you kept going, you held your job down, you paid your bills, you kept your food on the table, roof over your head, when all you wanted to do was just go home, get into your bed covers and just fucking lock it all out, because that's a sign of depression too. The fact that you carried on means that you're tough. You kept going against one of the hardest things in the world, which is like mental health problems. But the rise of mental health is just astronomical. And all of this was planned. That's the evil. We talk about good and evil. And I think it's becoming more obvious to people who are atheists and people who aren't, that we're fighting a system that's so utterly, utterly breathtakingly evil that you cannot even begin to comprehend it. Alright? And we're also seeing that the things that we talked about years ago that people mocked us for, took the piss out of us for, you know, like what they do with the planes in the sky, you have to watch what I say here, and other things. We talked about all of this, and while we were talking about all of this and people were mocking us and isolating us, which was also bad for your mental health, we were right all along. And then you get a side to that which makes you feel angry, makes you feel resentful, makes you want to push back against these people and have fuck all to do with them. But that in itself is destructive. And you've got to try and resist that, because people are people, they have their inherent flaws. No human being is perfect. There isn't one. I mean, the last one died about 2,000 years ago, and even he got fuck the ump on and threw tables around and was a little bit pissed off about usury and other things, right? But I digress. I think Morgan Freeman said it, and I've taken this from the film because I think it's a very good saying. Morgan Freeman, when he was playing the Moor in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, was trying to explain. He said there is no such thing as the perfect man, just perfect intentions. I think it was something like that. And it's true. With the best intentions in the world, you try to do something, and if it doesn't go right, it doesn't go right. But you had the best intentions. Some of these people who mocked you, they did it because they were scared. They did it because they trusted something that was so vast that how could it be a liar? These people were used to trusting, and they wanted you to stop what they thought you were doing because they thought what you were doing was dangerous. And I think we have to look at it from that perspective, because we're looking at it from the perspective of them being sheep who were bullying on behalf of the government, but maybe there was another side to it. Maybe these people were shit scared and actually thought that you were a threat. And maybe they were just doing what they thought was best for themselves. Not all of them, obviously, but there would have been a percentage. But these people, the divide between us and them grew bigger and bigger and made us, because we were in the minority, feel very alone. That was damaging. But these people are slowly coming around. And if you watch them, some of them will try to actually slowly be trying to extend the olive branch. Don't fall into the trap, by the way, of just telling them to fuck off, because that's playing into the trap. It is. And it takes a real character for somebody to look at people who have maybe mocked them, maybe, I don't know, berated them, made a scene in public, right, when you were right and they were wrong. It takes a real person of courage and moral fibre to accept their apology when they say they were wrong. Or even in some cases, they don't apologise. They want to come and be friends again, or they want to talk to you again. Yes, you can remember what they did, by the way. And at some point, and there will be an appropriate point, you will have to broach the subject and say, "No, what you did there, you know you were wrong. I know you're wrong. I'll forgive you. But part of this us thing will be you have to accept at some point, and you'll have to tell it to them at some point, you were wrong. You know, you don't have to say it was their fault. You know, everybody else was doing it, but you have to accept that I was right there, so that we can move on. And then the next time something else comes up, maybe we can talk about this a little better than we handled it last time. Because if we can bridge the divide between people, then the system and the thing won't work. And slowly but surely, we can deal with this mental health isolation problem, living alone. It's not going to be easy. Many of you had your families turn on you, your friends turn on you. Many of you still feel incredibly hurt. I do. But if we're going to move forward, we're going to have to learn to deal with this. And this will be part of repairing our mental health. Now the system, the powers that be, will be hating what I'm saying right now. Their work is to make you feel alone for the rest of your life until, I don't know, you can work that out for yourself. I can't even say it on here. Isn't it amazing that the world that we were given, a few people have taken as theirs and decided to charge the rest of us for the pleasure of living on the thing that we're all given. And moreover, they're then to tell people who lives, who dies, who's going to do what. And because of the system that they've created of oppression, bullying, the state, call it what you want, we live in fear and we go along with whatever they say for a peaceful life. And this thing is as old as time. And the system itself is the same system that bullies you daily and makes you feel bad. The same system that indoctrinates you through the radio, the TV, your phone, whatever other network or thing that you use. And all of this contributes to our mental health flaws, problems, call it what you want. Now, I don't think there was a time that human beings didn't deal with mental health problems. I mean, if you went back to one second, if you went back to the film Paint Your Wagon, you come up with it, so I just suffer with a disease called melancholy. The fuck is that? It's depression. And he says it's a disease to men that, you know, do what he did, which is wander, mine gold, live alone, that kind of stuff. So I know it was a film, but you know, back in the 1800s, people were saying they had it, and I'm sure that this goes back a lot further. So it isn't a new thing, but it's the amount that people suffer. Now, you could put that down to people feeling a lot more able to come forward and talk about it. I don't know. Or you could say that it's moreover down to a situation where we live in a world where everything that we're told makes no sense at all, and that we can see the injustice because we have the ability to research it ourselves. Therefore, we know we're being fucked over, and that then depresses us. Or you could look at it another way. Never in time has man and woman been forced so far apart. Never. So many of you out there just want a woman or a man, depending on who of you is watching this, to just have a cuddle with, and know that that person's not going to shit on you from a high high, but that person's going to give you a cuddle. We all want it. And there are times that we have it, and now we don't. And that's upsetting. And that can lead to depression. But the problem we have is that men and women, both aside, have been taught to resent and be aggressive towards the other side. And now we don't want to get into a relationship, many of us, because we just don't want to be hurt. So there it is. Anyway, I'm about to get onto site, and you will not be able to see me because it's so rough. Mind you, this road's not exactly fucking good either. As you can see, it's an old road across the moors, and it's sort of doing this. But it's just a few thoughts. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, are you depressed? And if so, talk about it. You're not bothering people, you're not doing people's heads in. Just talk about it. Anyway, I'm on site now. That means I can touch a phone, so I'm off public roads. And I'll speak to you in a bit.